Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the fastest growing, fastest rising post-professional wrestling show in all of sports entertainment. Welcome to Ringside Conversations. I am your host, Roddy of Crashman Media. We are fresh off of Monday Night Raw in Cleveland, Ohio. And thank God that the best star in all of Cleveland was here tonight in Logan Paul, who we will of course, talk about later this evening. Starting off, we open the show with the man Becky Lynch, the women's Intercontinental Champion, and she is upset, very upset. She happens to be backstage getting ready to come out to her entrance after backstage seeing CM Punk and his wife, AJ Lee. Seeing that AJ Lee's in the same building as her, it just ticked her off. So she comes out, and she comes Crash Out Becky. We love to see Crash Out Becky. Crash Out Becky doesn't know what to say. She had a I'm pretty sure we just witnessed a nervous breakdown on live television, which was like, so Becky comes out and AJ Lee, of course, comes out after Becky mentions her name. Well, actually, Becky didn't even mention her name. Cleveland just happened to chant AJ Lee's name and came out. And AJ Lee kind of was like, I don't understand why we have beef, Like I know there's that one time where I beat you once, and there's that other time I beat you at War Games, Oh, and I did cost you the Intercontinental Championship against Maxxine Dupri that one time. And you know what? Now that I said it out loud, I would have a problem with me too. AJ Lee is wonderful. She's phenomenal. She then antagonizes Becky to have said nervous breakdown, and she was like stuttering on her own words. She didn't know what to say, and from that, Becky is like, "What are you doing on my show?" And AJ Lee is like, "I'm just here to support my friend Maxxine Dupri in her match tonight, and I didn't have any issues about you or whatever tonight." Becky calls her like a little chihuahua, how she is always like just right there, like in her face or whatever. And then after that, Becky's like, is this all that you want between us as a fight? Like, do you want to fight me at Elimination Chamber? Because I can fight you at Elimination Chamber. Becky did that on purpose. Because she wanted to make it just a regular one-on-one match, in which AJ Lee then manipulates her manipulation and essentially talks her way into Becky putting the Intercontinental Championship on the line at Chicago. And Becky she suckers up to it, because at this point she's done with AJ Lee. She wants to be done with AJ Lee, and at this point she wants to be have her put down by her own hands, and basically tells AJ Lee, "Welcome to the big times," because big time Bex, right? Moving on. We now have our World Tag Team Champions, who we haven't seen together in a little while, let alone compete in the ring in a little while together. The Usos, who are going against their number one contenders in Alpha Academy, a.k.a. Tozawa and Otis, fresh off of their victory from last week's tag team match, where they became said number one contenders for the World Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. This match was surprisingly, when Mid-Carter goes against champions, and not like Mid-Carter, even though the Usos are tag teams, whatever. However you want to spit it in terms of words, right? The Usos have been main event. They main event in WrestleMania at with the tag team championships. So I don't even want to call them quote unquote Mid-Carters or anything like that. But when you take guys that have been Mid-Carters literally their whole WWE career, Tozawa and Otis, and you very quickly build them to be contenders for the championship and actually have them put on a match that was like, oh my God, they might win, right? And of course they didn't, right? It's Tozawa and Otis. But let me say something. Tozawa, I don't know what they're doing, but the little weird, I don't even want to say weird, but the whole Superman kind of in a little body gimmick they got going on with him. I want WWE to continue to do that. Continue doing more of that with Tozawa, because it's hilarious. It's awesome. And as a matter of fact, when he kicks it into gear, he almost won the match. And I think there was a miscue. I don't know. Something tells me that Jay's kick out after Tozawa hit him with the senton was literally, it couldn't have gone an extra 0.0 milliseconds of a second, if that makes sense. Maybe Jay was supposed to have interfered. I don't know. Or maybe Jimmy was just like that and just, But to say the least, after the Usos beat them and retained their tag team championships, and Saxon, who we have not seen on television in a hot minute, interviews them post-match and says Usos next, what's next for the Usos during the road to WrestleMania? And Jimmy was incredibly selfless. And he told Byron Saxton and the world in front of his brother that he needs to go win the qualifying match, that he needs to go win the Elimination Chamber so he can become main event Jey Uso again. 4 letters, 1 word, right. And that's interesting. Because I wonder, and I'm probably overthinking it. But I wonder if that's going to be like a nice small seed to plant in terms of them breaking up or in terms of them losing the title soon, whatever the case may be. Moving on, we have Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan coming out together. Mind you, in my SmackDown recap, we have yet to get an answer out of Liv Morgan in terms of which champion she's just going to choose, either Stephanie Vaquer or Jade Cargill. So before her promo starts, Dom, being the sentimental gentleman he is, pulls out a dozen roses and some chocolates for Liv Morgan because, it's about to be Valentine's Day, and why can't a man give his woman on live television flowers and chocolate, And so then we get to her promo after her very vocal appreciation of Dominic Mysterio. She essentially verbally, again, displays her confidence out on the table or out in the ring in terms of no matter who she picks, whether it be Stephanie Vaquer for the Women's Heavyweight Championship or Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. It doesn't matter who she picks because either way, she's going to walk out of WrestleMania as champion, in which Stephanie Vaquer interrupts the both of them via cane-like pyro, which I thought was so cool to see that, by the way. It scared the heck out of Dom, and I feel like it scared the heck out of a lot of people in Cleveland that night. So Stephanie Vaquer comes down the ring. She speaks a lot of Spanish to where Liv Morgan needed Dominic Mysterio to translate, in which he did not, but he instead talks for Liv. Do not ask me to translate because I am not a fluent Spanish speaker. I am not even remotely talented in said language. However, at the very end of it, I can tell you one thing that was said. Stephanie Vaquer then tells Liv Morgan, I hope you pick me, and because I wish she can beat her ass at WrestleMania. To which Liv Morgan disrespects her by essentially calling her ugly because Liv Morgan was wearing Hot Girls Love Dominic Mysterio, and she was saying she don't qualify to wear said shirt. And then that's when Stephanie said what she said. And then afterwards, Liv called her a puta. And Dom was close by, so then Stephanie just happened to slap him. And, Dom gets slapped a lot. We are kind of flying through this a little bit. We're now going to move on and talk about, in my opinion, the match of the night, but it seems like Cleveland didn't think so in terms of just them being interactive with the match. This is a women's qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber to see who would join Tiffany Stratton. And the contestants included Lyra Valkyria, Rhea Ripley, and surprisingly, Ivy Nile. And Ivy Nile, it seems like WWE are placing their mid-carders in important roles, like said qualifying match for the Elimination Chamber. And Ivy Nile, I thought, killed the match. I really thought so. She displayed her dominance. If y'all don't know, she's jacked. CrossFitter jacked, at least. And she shows why she's the pit bull. She was super aggressive. The talent is there in terms of her in-ring capabilities. She was able to fulfill her role in said match and help put on banger spots with Lyra and Rhea Ripley. Spots where they were going to do a superplex with the power bomb. Ivy Nile was great. Lyra Valkyria was great. Ripley was great. Match of the night, in my opinion. I just wish Cleveland was a little more involved in the match as they were involved in all the other matches tonight. That being said, Rhea Ripley won. Now, this was kind of like a given in terms of if you want star power in the chamber, which it kind of seems WWE is going that route. Considering you had a returning Tiffany Stratton win instead of a last legend who it seems like they're going to push to the moon. Maybe they still will. And now you have her, and now you have a Rhea Ripley. So who knows? I think they might make it just a stacked out Elimination Chamber match. So, we'll see how we were going to get another one on SmackDown. So we'll see who the contestants are and see if that theory is true. Moving on to a backstage segment involving the Judgment Day, because they're always on Raw, right? They are Raw, right? So Raquel Rodriguez is there supporting Liv and Dom to where Raquel kind of gets Dom's attention and tells her hey, maybe you should go talk to Finn. And Finn's right there behind him. And it's she said that as if Finn Balor wouldn't hear it because he was right there, but whatever. So Dom is basically telling Finn, like, hey, JD Dunner's coming back and everything's going to be all good. We'll all be, the Judgment Day again, all that good stuff. And then Finn essentially tells Dom, is like, I think I made it clear. I'm not done with Punk. I'm not done with the title. I'm tired of being an afterthought. And Dom kind of gives him like a reality check. Is like, dude, like, it's Punk and Roman at Mania. So like, I think the window is closed. And Finn Balor was just like, all right, bet. So then moving on to the interview that was supposed to happen with Michael Cole and CM Punk. Michael Cole was in the ring in which Finn Balor takes the microphone from Michael Cole and essentially lays it all out, right? He says, like, you're hurt, and I'm the guy who caused that pain. I'm the guy who's hurting you. Now, he claims he's tired of being an afterthought. I want to remind y'all of something, because WWE did this on purpose, which was smart, because he's not an afterthought. Literally, when CM Punk came into the ring with Roman Reigns last week, and instead of acknowledging the tribal chief immediately and talk to Roman, he then goes into a camera and talks about Finn. It's the very first thing he does. And obviously, those seeds were planted for what I'm about to say next. Finn antagonizes Punk enough to where before Punk even came out, Adam Pearce comes out with security and says, I'm not finna ruin the main event of WrestleMania by allowing you to antagonize Punk to get this championship match at Elimination Chamber, which is what Finn Balor wants, because Finn Balor lost to CM Punk in his hometown. So now he wants to beat Punk in Chicago. So CM Punk then comes out before Adam Pearce is able to throw Finn Balor out of the ring, and Punk tells him, like, grow a pair, come in his ring so he can fight like a man. And Finn's a heel. He's been around the business a long time. He's not just going to fight for nothing. He says, I'm going to fight you in Chicago, not in Cleveland, for the World Heavyweight Championship. Adam Pearce is denying, as he should. Honestly, Adam Pearce gets a bad rep by the superstars. I think that man does a good job, or at least tries to do a good job, while having superstars either yell at him or Paul Heyman always in his ear, left, right, and center. So Adam Pearce gets told by Punk, I'm the fighting champion. I should have a say in this. And if Finn Balor wants the title at Elimination Chamber, so be it. Adam Pearce finally gives in, gives us a match. Now, Finn's obviously going to lose again, right? And I hope the way he loses is going to very much be an indictment of the Judgment Day, meaning maybe Dom gets involved and costs Finn the championship by accident. That way Finn has an agenda now, which is like, instead of feeling like this is family, it's like, no, they're holding me back, So now that Adam Pearce gets Finn Balor out the building, he goes backstage, sits down, and his favorite WWE employee comes up behind him with his goons, aka The Vision and Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman then goes out to him and breaks the news, which, if you were watching the Super Bowl, it technically happened during the Super Bowl, but Braun Breaker is like injured, like real life injured. Like my man deadlifted too much weight, according to Paul Heyman, and got a hernia, which is like career-threatening surgery, according to Paul Heyman. So, of course, he points the fingers at Adam Pearce through all the stress and hell that he's been given Braun Breaker. So, which I thought was genius. Adam Pearce then stands up, talks about how he wants Braun Breaker back as soon as he can. Wink, he does not. And how Austin Theory has his match against Penta and LA Knight qualifying match for the Chamber to join Randy Orton. And he tells Paul Heyman and The Vision, do not get involved. Well, actually, specifically, he said Paul Heyman. The tension between Adam Pearce and The Vision is it's so high, dude. And at this point, I think it's going to come down to him firing all of them or something like that. I don't think you can fire Paul Heyman, but nonetheless. Moving on to the shortest match of the evening. This is probably the shortest match in Raw recaps on Ringside Conversation history. Nattie versus Maxxine Dupri. A beef that I guess kind of random. The whole lore is this is kind of like when Becky kind of beats her again for her championship. And Maxxine Dupri is now going training with Nattie in the Heart Dungeon. And she's able to go toe to toe with Nattie in the ring. So she was able to, go toe to toe in the ring, get some ring confidence and all that stuff. And then when Nattie comes back to be in her corner, she betrays Maxxine and from that, the beef starts. It's like when the trainer trains the student and the student go toe to toe with the trainer. So now the trainer hates the student. It's literally what the beef is. The match literally was Maxxine Dupri gets an early start in the match. And so they go out the ring and then Nattie beats her up. She didn't even care about the match. Both women got counted out. And then she puts her in a sharpshooter on the announcer table until AJ Lee comes out, like she said early in the night, how she was there to defend her friend, how she was there to be there for her friend Maxxine. In which, while she did help her, Nattie runs away and she helps walk her to the back until she gets about halfway to the past the ring and Becky Lynch comes out of nowhere and slams her against the turnbuckle post. And I'm just so excited to see AJ Lee in a singles match, guys. Like, it's her first time in like over a decade, I think, that she's been in a singles match and she gets to do it for the IC championship. Like, let's freaking go, guys. So now we have a match that had no business being fun. So the Americanos, O Bravo El Rio, versus Javon Evans and a partner of his choice. Everybody in Mama knew that the WB literally had marketed him the original El Grande Americano, which is so funny. It seems like current El Grande Americano, I mean, they've been keeping him more in like Mexican colors and stuff like that. And then the original El Grande Americano, straight patriotic, straight American, right? The match was so much fun, dude. Like, Javon Evans is Javon Evans. Like, he does not need any explanation in his in-ring talents. Dude has hops. Dude has charisma. Dude's a character, right? And if y'all didn't see it, go look it up. That ending to the match was insane. Like, El Bravo was on the top of the ropes, ready to go splash onto El Grande Americano, the original. And so when he was midair, Javon Evans also happened to be in the air to hit him with the OG cutter. Insane. It was insane. And, flying headbutt by El Grande Americano, 1, 2, 3. I love how Michael Cole is like so like, oh, that German suplex looks familiar. That ankle lock looks really familiar. And Corey Graves is like, well, yeah, we see Maxxine Dupri do an ankle lock all the time. Michael Cole seems like he's a big fan of her. Corey Graves and Michael Cole's chemistry at ring announcer is awesome, man. But and then the match was actually the most interesting part because current El Grande Americano tried to take El Grande Americano's mask off after he attacked both him and Javon Evans, in which the original El Grande The original El Grande Americano fights back and try to take the mask off of the current El Grande Americano. And this is for sure leading to a mask versus mask match. And I cannot wait. This is going to feed families. Okay. Like, and if possible, okay, the El Grande Americano character is like the most underrated success in WWE, like ever, in terms of character. Like, it had no business being this big. Even with the current El Grande Americano being able to go to AAA and being a star. So yes, I love El Grande Americano. To which brings us to the main event, being Penta versus Austin Theory versus LA Knight. Yeah. This is the first time we've seen LA Knight in the ring since 2 months ago when the Vision attacked him and tsunamied him onto a car. So first off, I want to address this. Paul Heyman is such a treat. He really, really is. He goes out with Austin Theory, but he just chills by the table. And he makes sure to say to Corey Graves and Michael Cole to announce to the world that he is not interfering in any way in the match or being involved physically in any way. He is just out here being a good manager to his, Austin Theory, in which the match itself was solid. Like, Penta is, especially after the Unreal documentary, I think we're going to get like a crazy Penta push here relatively soon. And I don't know what that may look like, whether it be a mid-card title or something crazy like a Money in the Bank, but WWE loves Penta. And they also love Penta like the way the WWE Universe loves Penta. The match itself had a lot of fun moments. Similar to the women's one. They had a lot of great spots, a lot of big moments in the match. And then eventually the Vision ends up showing up late in the match, in which, remember, Adam Pearce told Paul Heyman not to be involved in the match. He didn't, quote unquote, tell the Vision, right? Even if it was insinuated by Adam Pearce that he was referring to all members of the Vision, Paul Heyman makes sure to give him an earful after the match, and I'll explain in a minute. But we again got to see this mysterious hooded figure. First, I think, don't quote me, but I believe it was the first time seeing him since the Royal Rumble when he cost Braun Breaker the Royal Rumble match. And he ends up curb stomping Austin Theory. He ends up curb stomping Austin Theory outside the ring after Penta drags him out and when he almost won the match. Austin Theory throws Penta over the announcer table, and then that's when we see the figure super kick him, curb stomp, and throws him in the ring. Paul Heyman's like losing it, and then LA Knight hits him with the BFT, 1, 2, 3. Also, this is like a random, I don't know, complaint, I guess. Does anybody else think the BFT is like not a great finisher? Because I don't think it's that good. I actually think LA Knight should really use the Burning Hammer. The Burning Hammer looks so much cooler. It looks impactful and it looks like it hurts. The BFT is a way safer move, and I completely understand that, but it just, I don't know. And when you see LA Knight's a big guy. So I don't know, the Burning Hammer, it's a nice power move that he can kind of do to almost anybody. So I don't know. But post him winning the match, we cut to Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce arguing on the ramp, saying, didn't I tell you not to get involved? And Paul Heyman was like, you set that up. I had nothing to do with that, stuff like that. So we're gonna get some there's gonna be like a live court case on Monday Night Raw with Paul Heyman and Adam Pearce. I feel like someone's getting sued. Someone's getting fired, whatever the case is. We don't even know who Adam Pearce was talking to over the phone that 1 week on Raw when Paul Heyman told him, you should really answer that. And after that, he just gave him all his demands. So who knows? I don't even know if we'll ever get the answer to that because it wasn't mentioned here. Either way, Raw was fine. The road to WrestleMania. This show actually seemed like it went by pretty quick now that I think about it. Regardless of that, though, be ready for SmackDown recap because we will be running it back again. If I am going to ask you guys a question, who do y'all think this masked man is? Because he kind of got debunked on that one theory that it was Logan Paul because Logan Paul chased him. And the dude that was in the ski mask, hood, everything, he looked the same, same build and everything from the Royal Rumble. So who is he? He looks too small to be like Seth Rollins, and I feel like he don't got the same technique, like curve stomping wise. I could be wrong though, of course. But who do y'all think is in that scheme? Leave it in the comments. Otherwise, thank y'all so much for watching and joining me in Ringside Conversations. If you guys are fans of other sports, whether it be pro and collegiate football, basketball, or even something like boxing, Chrisman Media has outlets for all of your likings. So please give us a follow on all platforms. And thank y'all so much for joining me. I love you guys so much.